That was such a great episode. Why didn't more people listen? Sometimes I feel like, is this thing even on? Hi, my name is Neil Matthews. I too have been exactly what I just described. Wondering and wanting a second set of ears to hear my show. Well, that's when I came up with Podcast Insight Solutions, providing you insight and solutions into your show. Whether that be improving your interview style, improving your questions, getting the guests to really come alive, or maybe it's the audio. That's always a little shaky, or maybe it's the editing. I could get better at that. Well, that's where Podcast Insight Solutions comes in. I'd like to listen to your show, provide a second set of ears, and help you come up with solutions to those problem areas in your show. Right now, we're offering a free 30-minute consultation to take your show from meh to shining like a diamond. At Podcast Insight Solutions, we're transforming podcasts with expert insight. Book your consultation today.
Welcome home to Other People's Shoes, where every step tells a story. Get ready for an emotional journey like no other with Homecoming. Our homes are more than just a place. It's where we find safety, comfort, and connection through intimate conversations, heartfelt anecdotes, and inspiring stories. We believe that everyone deserves to feel welcomed and secure in their own home. Let us remind you of the beauty and warmth that home should bring. Other People's Shoes, where every step leads you to Homecoming.
I'm Matthew Lesko, and my new book will tell you how to tell bill collectors to go shove it. My new book shows you 4,000 government programs that you can use to pay your bills and get out of debt forever. Get $2,000 to pay your rent or mortgage, or even $7,000 to pay your credit card bills. Isn't it about time you get rid of your debt once and for all? Call now and get free money to pay your bills.
Welcome home, everyone. Welcome home. Big week to go home. I heard it on XM radio that this will be the largest and the most traveled day in U.S. history coming up on Thanksgiving. That's what I've heard. My research department kicked over every rock. They went to every website imaginable, and they said that this will be the most traveled day ever. So if you are heading home, if you have us on as you're making your way home to Grandma's house over the river and through the woods to Grandmother's house you go, or maybe it's the in-laws or the outlaws. What's the difference between an in-law and an outlaw? Well, outlaws are wanted, in-laws are not. So I also heard that years ago. You know what I also heard years ago? I was one of those late night insomniac people. Maybe I'm alone in that. I'm sure I am. You always saw this guy late at night in between Kimmel and maybe Johnny Carson, maybe Jimmy Fallon and those guys. But he had all these question marks all over his jacket and his pants and whatnot. I was fascinated by him only from the fact that I thought he was the Riddler as a child. And lo and behold, through the powers of technology and all the things involved, I get to sit before the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Matthew. How are you, sir?
Well, it's still alive. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I was a little surprised by that. I'm being honest. I was like, wait, that guy's still too. Around?
Absolutely. No, I found something I really want to do in life. I'm going to do it till I die. And I think that's what we're all destined to do, or should be. Man, we should be giving as much as we can before we die. There's nothing else to do. Seems like most people want to do something they don't like for 30 or 40 years and then to do nothing. I don't think that's right. But sometimes you have.
I know you've been on a number of shows and you're kind of in this new space, this new arena, this new avenue of podcasting and YouTubing and all the other things and TikToking. I noticed you're not doing any dances on TikTok, by the way. Are we working on that or what's going on there?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I like to dance, but I'm not as agile.
You're not as agile as you once were? What? That's so weird.
Right. I know.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you now? What's the age?
81.
81. And when did you start doing infomercials and all that late night commercials that we always saw as kids?
Oh, they were big in the 90s, yeah. And they ran, maybe the early 2000s for a while. In the 80s, I was mostly a professional guest, and that's how I sold books, did talk shows. I learned then that people on talk shows don't care what you say, it's how you say it. The more I act like a fool, the more shows I got. It's fine. If you're going to give me 7 minutes of free time nationwide, I'll do anything as long as I get my 800 number.
I'll give you more than 7 minutes of heaven in this case. Did you ever share a stage with the great Zig Ziglar? I feel like you guys would have run in the same circle.
Yeah, it should. Yeah, we should be somewhere. I think maybe he could have been a little bit older than me, not much. I don't think so for some reason. Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought you would be in the same
Yeah.
kind of.
Oh, he was like selling stuff. He's more marketing. Still, same kind of personality, so money related. It would make sense. No, it's always fun doing those shows like Who's in the Green Room? Or what I used to love most was that people would use me on big talk shows when somebody canceled. So then I'll go anywhere, anytime. Letterman used, remember once found me in Chicago at 4:00 in the afternoon and got me on an airplane to be in New York at 5:30 for when they do their show. And my first question, who am I subbing for? You know, what big star screwed them? Larry King used to use me like that a lot too. Yeah, and that's always a thing. Actually, King used to use me where he'd bring me in. He had an hour show when he was on CNN, and he'd have 2 segments, a half-hour piece. And so he usually had the big star on the first half hour, and a lot of times he'd want them to stay. To book them, they wouldn't say it's an hour; they'd say it's only a half hour. At the end of the half hour, he'd ask if you could stay for the next half hour. And I'm in the green room in case the guy says no. But they usually say yes, but I go home. I lived in town. It didn't matter. And I knew they owed me one. So I'll get a half hour sometime.
That's awesome that you were kind of the substitute guest or the substitute teacher. And a lot of times, like, we have Mrs. Farmwoggle. She's called in sick today. So here we go. We got Matthew.
Right.
Matthew Lesko standing by.
Got to clear that airtime.
Yeah.
And actually commercials are like that too. And that's how I made money without buying commercials. Because the infomercials you saw, I never paid for any of those because they cost so much. And I didn't know if they'd work or not. So I found out what you can do is give it to the station. If you don't sell that time, put me up there and I'll give you half the money. So it was risk-free. And that's how I made a bunch of money by not buying
crazy.
any advertising.
That's crazy. That's good advice right there, by the way.
Yeah.
I feel like I could use that.
Now you could do that on the internet too.
Yeah.
Want to sell something they don't have worthwhile if you got something decent and you don't know as the product provider, you don't know what their audience is worth to you. So medium, it may not be worth it to you. The best way to do that is say, okay, I'll give you half. On retail is like that. If you're selling books in a bookstore would take half the money. So I said, well, I'll give you half the money. You're going to bring me a customer? Give you half the money.
That's good advice. I love it. So Matthew, help us with this because I know you're going to probably do a number of shows and you've done a lot of shows already and you've been interviewed by, the greats, the Larry Kings, the Lettermans, all those famous people. Has anyone asked you this though when they started an interview with you? What size shoes do you wear? Has anybody ever started with that?
Maybe so. I've done thousands. It used to be 10. I don't know how as an adult they went from 10 to 12. Maybe it's like aging and everything. The sizes change. So it's just to make you feel you're still skinny, but you're really not.
But you're in a 12 now from a 10? That's
I
going up in the world.
I know. But nothing else grew.
What style or brand? Are you a brand snob? Are you a brand aficionado of shoes?
Yeah, I
funky?
just go for funky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just trying to get weird.
The brighter the color, the better.
Yeah, and because I do a lot of walking, used to do a lot of running. Hoka.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Those.
Yeah,
I'm looking for a lot of padding. For old people. That I'd still run 6 miles a day or so. I don't. Just quit a couple months ago. Go to the gym instead because I was tripping too much. But the padding for the bones, because I've been running for 40, 50 years. I still do it, and my bones are still great and everything, but I was tripping. But now I found out the high bottom of the shoes makes me tippy. You just worry. Your steps are the biggest problem, man. They're death traps to me. Your balance is not as, that's the one. My muscles and bones and everything are fine. It's just the balance. So I had to get lower platforms and actually tilt it a little more to make my shoe flat. I
Interesting.
Like it now.
That's fun.
That's not interesting. It's
well,
stupid.
no, it's interesting. No, I'm being genuine. Listen, hey,
that's right.
I'm a shoe guy. I'm a shoe guy,
well,
so it's interesting.
If I remember, that's what Oregon is. A shoe.
Yeah, we got
there,
Bowerman
right?
out here. We got Steve Prefontaine.
Really?
Come on.
Right, exactly.
Come on, man. I love shoes. I have probably 60 pairs, to be honest with you. Truly.
Really?
I really do. Yeah, I have a lot. I have a pair of shoes actually that's right behind me. You can kind of see it on the basketball hoop there if you
I
squint.
see them there.
Yeah. If you look at those have never been worn. I've never even put them on.
I mean,
They just sit on the shelf. Yeah.
Why, that's works of art? Or what the
Yeah,
hell
that's
is
what it
that?
is
Yeah,
for me. They're
really?
Jordans.
Yeah,
You know
I
Michael
see.
Jordan,
Yeah,
they're
right. Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
inspired by him. So they're from
I
his school, North Carolina, which is a good school. So help me with this. When we talk about homecoming, this idea of coming home, and we talked about Thanksgiving tomorrow, really comes to mind when I say homecoming for you.
Pumpkin pie, I guess. I don't know. Never big in family. I mean, we're a nice family, nice people together, but I don't remember big family stuff. Maybe Christmas, I remember a little bit or a few. Man, 80 years old, man. It's hard to remember that shit. My mother passed away when I was like about 12. And her side of the family had lots of people. My father's side, I don't know where they were, but they weren't around us. I don't remember much of that. Never bothered me one way or another. And when I went away to college, I wouldn't even come home for Thanksgiving or not even for Christmas. I had stuff to do. I went to school in Milwaukee. That was far away. I used to hitchhike a lot too, back 1,000 miles back and forth. Back then, I hitchhiked all over. I remember hitchhiking from Mexico City to Milwaukee.
Wow.
Summer, I'd just take off and go hitchhike all summer. I'd get a duffel bag, Army duffel bag. It looks like I'm in the military. A lot of people pick you up because they think you're going home or some shit like that. And I could live on like 10 cents a day on the road. Like
You never like a homecoming type family atmosphere. It seems like it was
No,
maybe some
I don't think
turmoil
so.
or
No, it wasn't bad or anything. I was a happy kid. I just had shit to do in life. An older brother, a younger brother, and older sister were all 4 years apart. Good Catholic family. Yeah. For college, pay for one kid and then the next one. So not too close together. Yeah, no, they're all nice people. But family, like I see my wife, man, and my sons, man, they're just so family oriented. I don't understand all this stuff. Grandkids are fun because they laugh at everything. Man, I could get those kids laughing. At 4 years old, grown-ups don't laugh at I just old man jokes, but the 4-year-old, it's all new stuff. Laugh at anything. So they're fun.
when you think about your legacy, have you allowed yourself to do that at all? Why not? Stick your tongue out of that. Why that?
Well, I mean, it just sounds silly. I mean, it is, can't do anything with it kind of thing. It's sort of nice. And once in a while to think about it, oh, yeah, well, I've done more than I ever thought I would do. Maybe that's part of it. It's all what you're doing today. Anything you do now, nobody's going to give a shit about next year. It's about you contributing and how much can you contribute. That kind of stuff is sort of living off something you did, but I'm still here. And that's why I think a responsibility is to help other people somehow while you're here. You're just going to sit back and look at your trophies or whatever. That seems like a waste of life, not of interest.
In your time of doing what you've been doing, helping people, find the grants and find the loopholes that the money that the government is hiding. Of course, Elon Musk is going to kind of put that to a stop.
No, he won't. No,
I'm teasing because I have no idea what he's going to do.
Yeah, neither does he.
Next 4 years, I'm really excited, but at the same time, I'm like, I feel like I've seen this movie before.
Right. Well, it'll be interesting. It'll be a clown show. Try to do a lot of stuff.
I'm mildly optimistic. How about that? That's where I'm at right now.
Hurt. I mean, we're all fucked up, so we got to do something.
Can't go any worse, right?
Right.
I asked a couple friends when I told them that you were going to come on, and one of them, he's a near and dear friend of mine. I've only met him virtually, never met him face to face, but his name's Sean
really?
McCoy.
Wow.
Truly, like, this is the joy of podcasting. I sent him this text. I said, hey, man, you remember the question mark guy? And he's like, oh, my gosh, he's still alive. So that's funny.
Right.
I thought you'd get a kick out of that, which I'm laughing at, too. But he said, this is his question, so I'm giving him credit. He asked this. He says, what was something difficult that you learned along the way?
Every day, nothing works. How can I get in the mind of the people who need this information in a way that they could understand it and take advantage of it? And what happens over the years, there's different channels of distribution has changed. So I have the same information for 50 years, but how to get it people. And then after people stop buying, that's what my stuff sells books. Nobody buys books. You got the internet. I got to sell a reference book to somebody. This is stupid. And that stopped. TV had. So I had to think. And that was hard. That was very hard to think. How do I take this stuff and package it in a way that I feel that I have to find a way to get income from it so I know it's of value to somebody. If you're not paying for it, it's sort of like masturbating. I think everybody should have it because you think so, and it's good for you. To me, we're here to make love to other people. So how people don't even know how to articulate, none of us do, about where our needs really are or what motivates. It's like getting on the heart-to-heart level to try to feel and understand that. So you can package it in a way or Politicians do this all the time. And we just think of the last two campaigns. They're all trying to say that magic word that kept the vote. And that's how I feel I have. But it's sort of, I don't know if it's like trying to get them the medicine, but I really think it helped. I mean, so many people are hurting in this country. We have 90% of us. This is on gross wages in the United States. There will be no test. Don't worry. You could go to sleep at this part. Maybe there's somebody. The red line is 90% of the people, the bottom 90% of us. Back in 1980, bottom 90% had 70% of the income went to the bottom 90%. And the top 10% got 30% of the income. So since 1980, their piece of the pie shrank and the 10%ers grew. We're growing as a country. Who's getting it? Not the 90%. That's why I feel people are upset, because they're getting screwed. They're not getting a piece of the pie. The pie is, too much of the pie is going to the top, and the rest of us don't. And also, we became, listen to this. Now, this may be shocking, maybe not. Shows you all the developed countries and their rate of poverty. We have the most poverty in all the developed countries. More poverty per capita in the United States than all the other 30 or 40 developed countries. How can we do that? We create the most millionaires, but we also create the most poor people. So we're number one on both ends of the scale. That's what counts.
Why do you think that is, though? That's such a great disparity. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Cabo. I've been to Ensenada. I've been to the touristy places where you look on one side of the street and it's the Taj Mahal of hotels.
Right,
and then you look at the other side and kids are playing in dung and they don't have shoes on. It's the two extremes. Now, I've been to Portland. Wow. Oregon. For those that haven't, come out to Portland. It's scary from when I was a kid. My wife and I were just up there. We were at a marriage retreat. I wasn't fearful for my life. I believe in a higher power, and I think if it's my time, my time. But at the same token, I was looking over my shoulder, being aware of my surroundings, being on guard, being on alert. As my dad would say, he's a former Marine. Taught us very young, be alert. It's a different world. I'm 44. It's a different world than when I was 24. It's a different world when I was 14. It's a different world when I was 4. All these things have continued to change.
Right.
And yet the one thing that stays the same is people are still making crap tons of money and not being generous.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I see. I hate to say that, rich against the poor, and it shouldn't be that way, but it sort of is. Look at the people who are following Trump around. They're all industrialists. They want more of the pie. And so they know, the rich people in this country know that they could go to Washington and get a law passed that'll make them more money than any product they could think of. Instead of helping each other or whatever to get more jelly beans. And that aside, I don't want to fight that war, because you have to yell at people. I want to show people what's there and what happens. See, I think if you look at it, the way I've been looking at it more recently is capitalism. We're getting really good at capitalism, and it has its limits. It's cool stuff. We brought more out of poverty than anything. And that's why China brought billions of people out of poverty using capitalism, even though they're not a capitalist society in a way. The paying for stuff instead of everything free, that's capitalism. But we have a country now that is only 2/3 capitalism, not 100% capitalism. It's 2/3 capitalism and 1/3 what I call community. So we have community, we have churches, profits, government is that way. So these are people in our community society that is there to help people. They help each other. So if we have a little village, okay, let's put up the barn. We all got to put up the barn ourselves as a community. So we help each other get through life, because life is shitty and it makes it comfortable. We have that. We're trained to use capitalism. Every time you have a problem, you're going to go to Google. Google is capitalism. All you're going to find there is somebody's going to want your money to solve your problem. You won't find any of the community people who will solve your problem for free. So that's what my education is trying to be, is educate people that we have 1/3 of our society that is cool in a way, because it's not only on capitalism. This is to help people. We're there to help each other. You walking in Oregon and fearful, it's because they don't have income and they don't know where to get it. You look like a good mark. If they weren't worried about that and felt that they can grow otherwise, you can't grow and you feel I would be like that. I'm a pain in the ass. If they wouldn't let me play, and if I couldn't play, I'd fuck up their game to entertain myself more than anything else. And so that's the feeling I feel, but I'm not smart enough to really know any of those answers. I just go along as much as I can, trying to prove a little bit of it. It makes me feel good. The giving society is sharing, whatever you call it, where we're helping each other, helps your heart grow. Now I'm 81, you're 41 or whatever the hell it is. Okay, you're still at 41 trying to get faster, stronger, smarter. At 81, I will never get smarter. I will never get faster. I'll never get stronger. I could love harder. So that's what I could do. Because I didn't do it much younger, like at your age. I was there or whatever, but not like it is now. I see it so important. And maybe because I ran out of the other stuff to get good at. And I feel I could still love harder for the rest of my life. So I can't get stronger than you anymore or try to. I could grow my heart more.
I love the idea of helping someone.
Yeah.
I have brought people onto my show who have never been on a podcast before. A lot of them have said, hey, that's awesome. Is every show going to be like that? I said, probably not, because I'm a little different.
Right.
Kind of like you.
Right.
I'm a little different. I'm a little extroverted. I'm a little peculiar in some circles. The idea is I don't care if somebody uses me or uses my show or uses whatever I have as a stepping stone to get to the next level, to get to the next thing. If I can be a part of that journey, high five. I want to be. And that's a life goal for me. I help them along the way.
Right.
I haven't arrived either. I'm not at the pinnacle. I'm not at the Willy Wonka with my golden ticket in hand. Like, here I am. I'm finished. Glass ceiling. Let's go. That's not me. Your whole life's mission really has been to help get people into these, again, government programs, these government grants, these Pell programs, all the things that, again, the government's kind of kept secret, kept locked away. What in your mind sparked that? When you're sitting in a college class, or maybe you're 20 years old, hitchhiking somewhere. Hey, here's a great idea. I got $1 million idea.
No, I didn't know that. I was in Vietnam. I was a ship driver. Got out of there, got money to get an MBA, got through that. I never did very well in school before, but that seemed easy. And then I was starting businesses. I started a software company back in the 70s that failed, 2 businesses that failed. Then I was a consultant to Fortune 500 companies in Washington. And I was helping them get information and money for growing businesses. And I didn't know anything about Washington, but I wanted to get paid. And so I would find money for them. I didn't know how. It just shocked me how much I could find in government. A client who was invested in Maine potatoes. What I would do is find the government office that had all the information on Maine potatoes. And I'd get that information for free. And I remember the guy's name because of my first big thing. His name was Charlie Porter. I'd make a whole bunch of phone calls like a reporter. What does the Department of Agriculture know about Maine potato? Oh, you need to talk to Charlie. Okay. I'd call Charlie up and I'd make an appointment to go see Charlie. And I'd sit in his little cubbyhole office. And he would capture me there for hours explaining everything about Maine potatoes, showing me reports and money programs, investing in them, and all this kind of stuff, giving me studies that the government spent millions of dollars on for free and all. So I'd take his stuff, take his name off it, put my name on it, and sell it to my Fortune 500 clients. I thank him in there. God, a schmuck like me from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania could call up this place and get all that information for free. And these people are making millions of dollars on it. God, why doesn't everybody know about this? This is like finding oil in the ground. Oil everybody could use. I just don't want to help rich people anymore, besides them being boring to work for. With all they care about is money, and there's so much more to life. So I just help the average people. And how do I educate people in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania about all this stuff? And that became a mission that's bigger than me.
Where did the question marks come in, Matthew?
Always information. My MBA is a management information system, so it was always information. Back then in the 70s, my idea was you can make perfect decisions if you get perfect information. To get perfect information, you have to ask the right question. So you won't get the right answers unless you ask the right question. How to make $1 million? Well, yeah, that's the wrong. It's really asking the right question. But over the years, and this just really happened maybe in the last 10 years or so, I said, yeah, but that's true in a way, at least in my mind. Other people may have other reasons. You need to ask the right questions to get the right information to make a decision. But even if you have the right answers, you won't make it happen unless your heart's in it. Your heart has to be in it. You have to want to do this to make it happen. Everything you do in life is going to be a pain in the ass. If you want to be human, get ready for being pain in the ass every day. And you won't get through those tough parts if your heart's not there. It's the same with the personal relationship. And living with anybody, well, we're all screwed up, and it could annoy anybody. But to get over that, you have to have something bigger, and your heart has to be there to not let that blow up on you.
So when you go out in public and you're out with your wife, what does that look like? Guessing you have all your question mark jacket on or something.
Well, no, sometimes we're naked because we go a lot of time. I dress like this 24/7. This is me.
Does she ever get annoyed by it? Are you at like a coffee shop and somebody comes up to you and goes, what is going on? You know, is she used to that by now?
What's nice is because we live urban now. We used to live in the suburbs, raise kids, and downtown. And people just treat me nicer than they have since I started wearing the suits. I mean, I thought when I first started wearing the suit, oh, shit, you know, I'm going to have to defend my honor every 20 seconds, you know. Macho guys calling me this, that, or the other thing. And I'm not that kind of guy that would bother doing that. But that never happened. Just disarms people, smile at me. I get free upgrades on the airline. I get free coffee. Even if they don't know my work, it just makes people smile. People treat me better than I should be treated. All of it. So I feel it's like Superman's cape. I could go in a biker bar at 2:00 in the morning to feel very comfortable. But I'm a wimpy guy, so that would not be somewhere I'd naturally go to. You know?
What's your thoughts on Johnny Cash? Do you have any thoughts on him?
Johnny Cash.
I know that's a giant leap from, well, we kind of were talking biker bars, so, you know, I don't know. It's a little bit of a segue.
My generation, I enjoy his stuff. Him with incarcerated people.
Yeah.
There's a new program Biden has. If you're getting out of jail, you get a $50,000 money to start a business. No collateral, no nothing. You know, formerly incarcerated, I mean, that's a huge block of society. We incarcerate more people than anybody else in the world. Or maybe Russia.
Our very first episode this season, we talked to a guy who was incarcerated for 16 years, wrongfully incarcerated. He's a lawyer now, by the way.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, good for him. I bring up Johnny Cash for this reason. It's one of my favorite quotes. He's attributed to saying this. He said, "You build on failure. You use it as a stepping stone. Close the door on your past. Don't try to forget about the mistakes, but you don't dwell on them. You don't let that energy into you in any way. You don't even give it any space." What do you think of that?
No, that's true, because it is, failure has to be there. Anything you want to do new, you get ready for failure. That's why don't plan for success on a new venture, plan for failure, because 9 times out of 10, that's going to happen. I remember going to these seminars when I was younger, trying to figure out what to do in life, tell you how to hedge fund $1 million. I don't have a pot to pee in, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with $1 million. That's crazy. And that's easy. Don't worry about success. Worry about failure, because that'll keep you back. I remember the first couple of big failures. It'd take me months and months to get over it. While I'm doing something, I always think, okay, another thing is going to work. Because I think now it's how many things can I try before I get another hit? And if I think, no matter how good I am at thinking, it's going to be wrong. But that leads to what is right. You can't sit and think of the $1 million idea. No, you have to have 2 25-cent ideas or 100 of them before you stumble into a great idea. And it's stumbling into happiness. That's why you should never talk to friends and loved ones when you want to do something new. They're going to tell you why you're going to fail. And they want to protect you. They love you, so they want to protect you. But protecting you ruins you, because then you don't go and grow and find out what you want to do in life. And then you stay in a shitty job.
Where were you like 6 years ago? I should have called you, because that's how long my show's been going on, almost 6 years now. And when I started, a lot of my friends were like, "You're starting a podcast for real?
Right,
no one's going to listen, Neil." I'm like, "Thanks. Will you listen?" "No, I don't have time for that."
Right. I did the same thing. My commercials, I used to show my friends and everything about, and then try to fix them or what they say. And everything. Then it occurred to me, they never bought anything on TV. Why am I asking them?
Fact. Fact. He speaks the facts. 100%. I want to give you an opportunity. How can people find out more about your programs? I know there's probably just a ton of stuff, a ton of resources you have available to you.
Yeah.
What's the best way somebody can download?
My service it's called leskohelp.com, and that's $20, and we help you cradle to grave to apply for everything. We also give our own grants. It's become so profitable, I can't believe it, that we also give $70,000 of grants to members every month. I'm very proud of that, probably more than anything. I thought you had to be Jeff Bezos to do stuff like that. But you could just be a schmuck like me and do that. But more important, let me leave you with a few tools here that
please
can use. Okay, one, can you go online?
Yes, I can.
Go to findhelp.org.
All right, findhelp.org. Okay.
Okay, and up on the left-hand side, you see something, put in your zip code.
Yep, I do.
Yeah, put that in there.
All right, doing that.
And then you go to another page. And should be a number in the middle of that page that says how many sources there, maybe 3,000 or something like that.
It says 1,938 programs in Central Point, Oregon area. That's where I'm at.
So 1,900, so almost 2,000 programs that give money. Every one of those programs give money to you or help. You could go a little further. Let's go up to that little search bar again and put in rent, R-E-N-T, and see how many of those will help you.
I appreciate you spelling rent for me, for the dyslexic in the room.
I flaked English in college.
Yeah, I appreciate
sometimes
that.
you hear something else.
There is a number on top, 51.
Okay. So you have 51 nonprofit
pages.
organizations where you live that help you pay rent. Not all be yours. That amazing amount of opportunities there are that people don't know. That's what I can't get over. I mean, boy, if you wanted to go and put that in Google rent, you're going to get 2 billion, right? You're going to give up after calling 5 people and they all want money from you. None of these people will ever ask you for money. They give money. Who knows that? They don't. I mean, if you put in financial assistance, or you could put in home repair, you could put in car repair, you could put in healthcare, you can put all the stuff that is all free. People don't know. Some are income dependent, some are not. But the income now, man, I was just kind of like getting your hospital bill forgiven. They have a program now, $125,000 income, you could get your entire hospital bill forgiven.
Is it Canada? Are you sure it's not Canada?
No, right. It amazes me. So that's what you want. Now for healthcare, here's where you go. You go to needymeds.org. So you're looking for drugs, you're looking for dental care, you're looking for hospital care that you don't have money or anything like that. That's the mother lode of all the free services. Needy, NEEDYMEDS.org, O-R-G again, just like in findhelp.org. So all of these are .org because that means they're free. You stay away from .com.
Right, because they're an organization just to help.
Right,
those
exactly.
that
Not Oregon.
non-tech savvy. Not Oregon, but organizations.
Right. Yeah,
yes.
That's what that, no. And that's important.
What about, because, holidays are right around the corner.
Yes.
I know a lot of people are Christmas shopping already.
Right.
There's a thing called credit card debt. I'm not saying I know someone who has those per se, but maybe who has struggled with those. Is there a program for that?
Absolutely. And you don't go to Google. You can go to Find Help and put in financial assistance, financial counseling.
All right. So there's 462 just in my area code.
Right.
462 just in my area code.
All the people that will help you with your credit cards, call the people, help you get rid of the debt, or all the things to get that monkey off your back because you worry about that hurts your health. But if you go to Google, you'll get billions of people that are going to get money from you.
Well, Matthew, I just want to say thank you for what you're doing. I really do mean this. It's an honor to sit with you. I wish that we were not virtually, but we were face to face in maybe a Starbucks or a coffee shop of local. Maybe there's a good coffee shop there. You could send us some coffee beans. We'd be okay with that. When I saw you, I was really excited. I was a little, I won't say Twitter-pated, but I was like fanboying a little bit. So I just want to tell you, on behalf of all those that you've helped, I mean this. I mean this genuinely. Yeah. I appreciate you. Is who's going to take up that mantle? Who are you passing the baton to wear all the question marks when you're gone? I mean, I say that with love in my heart. I hope you hear that.
I never thought about that because I'm here to entertain myself first. And if it helps somebody else, that's a bonus. But now I see with my community now, I see that's not needing me. People are helping each other. So you won't have the trained clown, but at least the idea of this help being available. I've been waiting 50 years for the government to do something like this. And they never did. So I said, shit, I just got to do that. And I thought maybe it'd just be something for me to write out until I'm not here anymore. But now I'm going to feel, boy, people are helping each other, and that helps them feel better about themselves helping each other. And I feel that they can help people better than I can because they just learned how to do it themselves and they're excited about it. And done for the first time, I've been doing this 50 years. So it's hard to impress me with a new one.
I just want to say genuinely, I am excited. And I'm excited that you've built this community around you that you can now hand off to. That's got to be pretty amazing to feel.
It is. It's close. Never thought that. And that just happened the last 6 months or something. I sort of saw that it's a possibility.
That's awesome.
But we'll see. Or maybe I'll outlive those fuckers too.
Well, do you want to play a game with us? Do you have time?
Okay,
do you have a quick time to play a game? All right, so here's the game. I stole it from your buddy Larry King, so here we go. It's called Heel Hustle. Here we go.
It's now that time in the show to play the fastest growing game in the podcast world. We call it Heel Hustle. Experts will try to answer all 6 of these questions in 60 seconds or less to win an Amazon gift card. Amazon not responsible for this commercial spot, nor did they pay to let us use their name. Audience, feel free to play at home. Are you ready? Let's put 60 seconds on that clock. Ready, set, hustle!
The game begins in 3, 2.
Clearly a lot of downtime. All right, Matthew, here you go. One person you trade places with for a week. Who would it be?
My wife.
Nice. Guilty pleasure in life.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Nice. Best compliment you ever received?
Holy shit.
Okay.
That's a compliment to
Nice.
me.
All right. What's the worst piece of advice you ever received?
Go to school.
Nice. What's something you wish you were better at?
I love me.
Nice. What's something that never fails to make you laugh?
Oh, tacky jokes. I'm in dad joke territory.
Well, you did hear about that peanut, right?
No.
Yeah, I went downtown and got assaulted.
See,
There
great.
it is. See, there it is. All right, guys and gals, kids and campers, that is it. That is all. That's our show today. Tomorrow is the big turkey day. Are you excited? Are you ready? What are you thankful for? What are you grateful for? I'm grateful for this. I mean, I don't know about you. I want to go check out that website he gave out. We'll have that in our show notes, by the way, in case you're wondering. So you can go to your area and search out all the programs that are available and see some untapped funds. Maybe that can help get you out of those jams and make homecoming just a little bit sweeter for you this holiday season. I don't know about you, but I have a lot of question marks still in my life, and maybe you do too. So this holiday season, let us help you answer those questions by asking the right question. I love that. Did you catch that? That was in there. It was, I promise. Go back and listen if you don't believe me. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. We will be right back here next week as we kick off December. It's going to be an amazing time. You're going to want to get some grace going. Just a hint of who we're going to be talking about next week as we, again, make our journey home to homecoming. But again, as I go, I just want to remind you, if you ever want to reach out to the show, you can do that at opspodcast.com. You can reach out to us there, and you can also reach out to us on the socials at OPS Podcast Show on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Again, don't forget, remember, when you walk in other people's shoes, you really do get a different perspective on life. Thank you so much for listening, and stay tuned until next week when we walk in other people's shoes.